Damn. Tried to get out that window. Damn, I can't never get away. I can't never get away. Yeah, well, we didn't get away. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's moving too fast, though. We need to move slower. Shit moving way too fast. They the dead homies. They ain't even hit me with the friend request. I have no idea where he's at. Damn, they drenched. That bitch chased me down. That bitch chased me down. Stay alive is the smartest idea. I don't think I could have stayed alive. They literally got on my ass once I got to the floor. Damn. Drenched him. That's not teamwork at all. He didn't think about team at all. picked the biggest, best gun out there. I was busting. Feel like I need a gun next time I drop down. His ass killed me again. That's how I died. These niggas ain't hitting nobody. They was shooting, hitting air balls. Me too. Me too. Don't be sleeping on the wrong side of the bed, man.
Rock up. You're headed to the war zone.
What? This game don't fuck with you. I shot this nigga and didn't miss. They said, let him land softly, aim, and kill. Let me close this game. Let me kill some shit now. Now I got to kill some shit. do that. Damn, I got jumped. I got jumped. Dude got on my ass quick. I don't know how he did it like that. You right with him. Maybe he knows they're there. This could kill two motherfuckers. Get him. What? I ran into the wall. What? And my teammate gone, ain't he? How's my teammate gone? Teammate just left. Healed out. I do it on my own. Damn, I couldn't hide. There was nowhere to go. He just popped right out and shoot. I kill like that. Pop out and shoot, motherfucker. Nah. I didn't know I was there. I didn't know I was there. They don't show it. That's crazy. I'm here.
Have you ever heard of the elbow voodoo? No. Why you're not supposed to touch other people's elbows? No. What? Oh, you ever heard of this? No. Okay, so Malaysian Airlines.
Yeah.
Did you see that? What happened with that?
What happened?
So news came out and it shows where the plane actually went. Wait, is it the one with the three orbs? Have you ever had a dream about this tiger? No. Okay, keep watching, look. So that picture went viral on Twitter. Somebody posted it and said, I had a dream about this tiger. Now, what happened?
From puck drop to every slap shot in between, nothing says hockey like Caesar's.
This is straight to me. Now pull up, Scarface album coming. Let's see how you doing. Guns are up, taking the city's backyard.
People need hurt. You're making your ass getting bigger. This is pretty funny.
I want lights out next. I'm coming in July. I'm gonna kill that nigga. Hey, fuck White Wolf too, dog. White Wolf too. Yeah. I'll kill all you bitch ass niggas.
Any coward can pull a trigger.
That's so
man to look
dumb.
another man in the eyes.
Have this
Punch
retarded
him right in
guy.
the face. 5-star Wolf's pet. Step in the case and I'm giving out work.
CubeSmart, they believe in storage that puts you first. So when Sarah got her job, Dad's gadgets and Sam's gaming gear first, but it also means stores that put flexibility first.
Socks, yes. Activity, yeah. A blog, yeah. Why would you like that? Reimagine mine today. You just change the line. It says the magic mind is max.
It's the discount. And this is the difference. I need that before my road trip. Perfect. Right, bye. That's fine. Yeah, it's just get right there. Oh! I'm not happy about that camera. I'm not here.
Wait, go back to
She yelled at everyone. She is on this too. So we can, we can do wider. We can cut to her in the room. Yeah.
Wait, can you
You missed it. You want the second one? No, you lost the chance.
If I make this, you'd be happy.
No. SWAT. Bad new job. Here he is.
If I make this, you'd be double happy.
No. Double mad. Oh no. This is really gonna be rough. Dang. This is gonna be real rough. You know what time it is? Pushing going.
Who's that?
Not the hype porn.
Okay.
I would. Hype porn.
Porn.
Error.
I just corrected in my head. Okay. All right, everybody. I consulted our Discord. What?
Keep talking for the love almighty.
I consulted our Discord chat. Stop it!
You got to put through. The episode's done. We're done. We're done.
I consulted our Discord group through our Patreon. So if you're interested in chatting with us,
Link in the bio.
go to Patreon. That's how both of them do. This is from Jay Deadman is his username. If you were affected, this is a hilarious question. If you think about it. Okay. If you were affected by aliens, what tactic would you use to convince them to take you home? How are you pitching them to send you back?
I'll just pee and poop on myself.
They're expecting it.
I guess, yeah.
I would say...
I fall desperately in love with the leader. Yeah, I fall desperately in love. Like, you'd be like, as soon as I look up, like, after I'm getting drove, I look back, I look him in the eyes, and it's like that dream weaver, like slow motion. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so we do.
That's probably what I do.
They'd probably be trying to study you, so you gotta do like, you know, you can't do this and that's me. I just try to be a good guy.
What the fuck just happened to that gun?
Yeah, like that.
What the fuck, and when the fuck did I turn into that?
This is like an outline.
That gun will start busting one shot at a time. Oh,
Yeah. You're way too happy to do that.
Yeah, way too happy.
Guys, this is awesome. I'm going to be forever here. With you, right here, always by your side. I'm going to be here forever. Can I be here forever? I would really.
you see that guy up there shooting at me, though? You shooting at me and that guy up there shooting at me.
I would try to convince them that they had like the wrong species. I would be like, they're looking at you, you're like, of a low intelligence.
That would not work. People thought them out. They're like, we know exactly who you are.
No, they
We have
know.
your DNA
I would be
right
like,
here.
you're missing the secret.
Yeah, very intelligent. We've actually been here for
Yeah, Badu's this bitch.
thousands of years before humans were even born. You gotta pitch it in. Yeah, I'm the alien.
You got us all wrong.
Do I?
Look at our history. We destroy each other.
Look at the pyramids. We built them.
No, you guys did.
I said we built them.
Oh.
You said no. You guys did.
Exactly. You're not going anywhere.
Further affirms my point. What you really need to go after.
What the fuck? Why you protecting
Oh,
them?
yeah?
They protected you. Who was that?
You said we got.
Why are they protecting people?
Okay, yeah, you're not going anywhere.
You're taking out.
No! The fact that I'm here and you're saying we're not working.
I don't want to go back for another season.
Oh, we're going back plenty more.
20
Yeah, plenty more.
all day long. Everyone's dead.
Sorry. Beeble bop, beeble.
That was my question from Jay Goodman.
Dude, every time I'm mad at Laura talking to alien voice, my true feelings. I'm upset with you now. I'm not upset with you.
You are.
No, I'm mad at the situation.
There's no situation.
Listen, you might not have the first half of this episode of your team review.
You get to hear my beautiful voice.
Should I just use the photo of her with the hotel the whole time?
Yeah.
Please don't.
Just full frame. I'll stretch it.
No.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Move on.
two old footage together and this shit. Yeah, if you could go back to every episode and find the word that she has said,
That's perfect. Yeah.
splice it all together. Yeah,
We don't use many words anymore, so that should be easy.
true.
Speaking of alien invasion, can I talk about that Betty Barney Hill thing that I found?
Yeah, if you want to skip Andrew's reel.
Oh gosh, golly, yes. We can't do that.
We can't do that. We can't do that. That was a joke, because you're setting it up for after the reel.
Of course I am.
Andrew, here's what that be.
I'm an alien. Ooh, and I want to see something. A reel? A reel? From Andrew. Yes, please.
Oh, well, you're not going anywhere. I don't know. I was getting...
It's okay. I hate this. This is Paige's greatest fear as a teacher. This is why you shouldn't send your kid
Oh my gosh.
to public school.
Nice. Lice.
This
Put her on the
is
mind.
crazy. How does it get this bad?
Okay. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Okay.
No. Poor girl.
Oh, good
Yeah,
job.
Oh lordy, that is. Are those all live?
Dude,
Poor girl. How did it get to that?
that's what I'm saying.
Man, at that point, buzz cut. Buzz cut, Dave. Oh my.
Who fucking where?
He gave the girl
He wasn't there when I looked
buzz
over
cut.
there. I was just looking over there.
It gets worse.
Now I'm gonna feel like my head's itchy this whole episode.
I hated that. Dude, I almost made a life joke to Chelsea, like, night when you're laying down. And I know I'm feeling like that because I'm like,
She's
yeah,
like,
she will not take this as a joke.
Yeah. Have you ever had lunch?
I don't think so.
Look at him.
Yeah, of course I have. Took all of it. No, I don't think so. I think Demi had it when she was a kid from like
Yeah.
some daycare or something. It was a nightmare, but
I've never had it, but every time there's like a case in one of the schools Paige has worked at, I eat for like 2 months. Every single day when she gets home, she's like, I have to like sit there and like, I am sure you don't have it, but
Where did they originate
Can you
from?
get one?
huh?
Can you get one?
Why would I not be able to?
Because your hair's a little more coarse. Isn't that a thing?
Wasn't that like a Hispanic little girl?
he gets
Like
rice.
the same hair?
I don't know.
He gets rice. Over their hair, it's rice.
Why is that the joke that got you guys?
What the fuck?
Go real no, right?
You're right. I've never had lice.
Yeah, right. You sure? You can see some stuff pouncing up there.
Oh my gosh, really?
Crawling. Yeah, 100%.
I've heard that
I
lice
figured it was
don't
just
like
dandruff.
a dirty, greasy head.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Well, you've got beautiful locks. Everyone loves them. Everyone drop a comment for Josh's beautiful head of hair.
too bad they're fake.
Yep.
Okay, aliens.
Yes, Betty Barney Hill. So you remember that story? No.
Betty
Okay.
and Barney Hill. Remember?
Oh, yeah. Show.
Interracial couple in the 50s or 60s.
Back
Right.
to our story.
Yeah, basically, yeah. And so they're driving, they see a UFO. This is long story short because it's really told. It's like high strange, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was.
Yeah.
And it just they tell it super well on there. But there's a detail that really stuck out because while they were up there talking with these aliens, it was a long kind of thing, and they were able to really go back and forth with communication of them. They even to the point where they pulled out Barney's teeth to the inventors, and they couldn't understand how his teeth came out until he did it. And so she was using that, just talking back and forth, explaining to them that it was dentures, all this stuff. And there was one point where she saw with what you call paper, just a notebook.
Damn.
And it looked like
That motherfucker was on my ass.
right, just little dots.
That is so fucked up.
5, 6 dots with lines and stuff.
That's
And so
so.
she was asking about this, and she was just asking more questions and where are you from and all these things. And I was being really good at answering the alien guy. And the alien guy looked at her at one point after asking questions about all these dots and all these markings, what they meant. He said, "There's really no point in telling you. There's really no point in telling you where I'm from if you don't even know where you're at." And so when they get dropped back down, she takes a piece of paper, and she draws what she saw. Right? The 26 dots with the lines, the circles, everything building out. And apparently, when this got documented, people checked it, and it was checked by multiple scientists, and they just couldn't figure out what it is because they were thinking maybe, well, if this our sun, this would mean these things would exist over here. And it was markings that he wouldn't know how to explain. He just said, "This is what I saw."
Yeah.
And so it was years and years that went by, and until a scientist was looking through a telescope, and they just started connecting certain dots. And when they brought it back, it was the exact same star map that she had written 10 years ago. I just sent you the picture.
Wow.
Dude, no.
They did not discover that until a decade after their abduction. Oh, smokes. Is that not wild? I mean, if that's not the most obvious proof of something really weird happening, I don't know what is.
Well, where is that?
Well, the sun is, let's see here. The sun is apparently that dot right there.
Oh, okay.
Our sun.
Our sun is the top dot right there. And so everything that she pointed out was true. And apparently these aliens are from the Zeta Reticuli. That's what they're called. Binary star system with 2 sun-like stars. Yeah. That was
Nobody said
Reticuli. That's great. Dude, I love that story. The fact that I found that detail is on my supplement. Getting a lot of traction.
Sun-like stars.
Yeah.
I mean, it's dead on.
Yeah, I mean, how do you just make that up?
So, wait, where was she? Was she on a ship?
She was on the ship whenever this was happening. Having this conversation with aliens, dude.
What ended up happening to them after that? Like, because American Horror Story depicts that they go to insane asylum.
No, I mean, they continue to be advocates and helping a lot of other people with their stories.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out what really happened to them. But yeah, I mean, the thing is, they were an interracial couple at that time. That was not great. So them coming out really put them under the spotlight and a lot of ridicule, a lot of stuff. They haven't changed their story. Things like this happen, and they come just to me confirmed.
What's up with the teeth then?
I know that was just a detail no, because Barney had dentures, and so his teeth came out, and they're looking at her teeth.
John, mobile banking.
The alien.
Yeah, the aliens not knowing why her teeth. And so they were kind of blown away by that. And so it's just they were just learning. But I hate that line. It's like, I'm not going to tell you where we are and where I'm from if you don't even know where you're at.
Ugh.
I don't like that's so scary.
Don't like that.
Yeah, wild stuff. Absolutely crazy.
Don't like that at all.
No.
Speaking of aliens, though, I also have aliens to speak about.
More? The good stuff that you're talking about?
No, the AI was good stuff I was talking about. This is also good. That was good stuff?
Oh, man. Okay.
All right.
I thought it was awesome.
Yeah. The Hav Musus.
Musus.
The Hav Musus.
What is that?
They are
a race of beings that the Paiute people talk about.
Okay.
So Paiute Native Americans.
Yeah.
This tale comes from an interview in the 1930s with Paiute Native American woman named Chief Frank or Little Buck. And she...
Chief Little Buck.
Yeah, Chief Little Buck.
Chief Frank.
Yeah, or Chief
Miss Chief.
Miss Frank.
To us.
But she spoke to this journalist.
Sorry, to be frank.
You want to keep going back?
Hey, let us make the jokes and then you can move on.
She was speaking to she told this whole story to this journalist named James Donahue. Wait, that sounds really familiar.
Yeah.
James Donahue. I'm James Donahue. Yeah. But it's crazy. She says the Paiutes, they speak of this race of beings called the Hav-Masuvs. But they're described as pale-skinned, blue-eyed people who lived in the, I don't know how to pronounce this, but the Panamint? Panamint. Panamint Mountains of California. Near Death Valley. They talked about Death Valley. Interesting. But according to the story, they arrived thousands of years ago, possibly by air, and ended up settling underground.
Wow.
They allegedly created a vast subterranean city beneath the California
Mountains.
California mountains. Complete with technologies far beyond the indigenous tribes of that time. And they were known for flying silver ships, or what the natives called them, sky boats.
Wow.
They would hold these silver tubes, and when they would shoot them, beams of light would basically disintegrate people. And they called it gliding craft or sky boats, silent, and they said that they could fly great distances over a short time. And sometimes they would see them flying to the stars. And then they had metal tools. The metal tools, that's the one that I thought was absolutely fascinating, because it says that these tools didn't wear out. The machines they were machines that could cut through rock effortlessly, and it said they described them as even melting the rock.
Oh my gosh.
Which we talked about that before, right? Legends in South America, and even in Egypt, they talked about the way that this stuff is made. It looks effortless, looks like it could potentially have been melted rock.
Yeah, but that also could explain all those ancient cities that went away with a rapid, intense heat.
Yeah.
Because it could be used for a weapon and as a tool.
Yeah, but they supposedly built massive underground halls in cities carved into marble, complete with lighting that didn't rely on fire, is what they talked about.
Oh my gosh.
The architecture is described as glowing, with the walls that gave off light. And they said that compared to what they described today, it's they looked like cathedrals of marble underground.
Wow.
Very similar to the guy that we talked about a couple weeks ago with the Death Valley.
That's what I was thinking.
Going into this, it looks like just polished marble.
Yeah.
Very interesting stuff.
I mean, who says they're not connected, right?
Yeah. But when taught of what were their interactions like, the Paiute people and these alien dudes, they said that they communicated through telepathy.
Oh boy.
Always, Dave, right? Always. They didn't use telepathy. They said that they would speak directly to our minds without moving their mouths.
Yeah.
It's okay, freaky. But the initial contact, according to the story, the Paiutes first encountered the Hav-Masuvs while traveling through the California mountains. The Hav-Masuvs were not aggressive, and there was a period of peaceful interaction. They would trade knowledge and goods. In some stories, they helped the Paiutes during times of famine and drought.
What?
So I mean, it's very comparable to the Watchers, teaching them skills of agriculture, technology, all that stuff.
Yeah. Also the location, California. I mean, we hit the legend city. We talk about all the Aztecs. I mean, that's, yeah.
Yeah. So over time, the Hav-Masuvs withdrew further underground as more settlers and other tribes entered the area. Some versions say that they feared aggressions of the, quote, white man, the European settlers, while others suggest that they were simply finishing their mission in isolation. In one version, a group of Paiutes followed the Hav-Masuvs into a cave entrance, but were turned back by lightning
I
That's
healed,
why the
and this
entrance
nigga came up like it was
sealed.
nothing.
Some say it was by a rock slide. Others say the
Yo, what up?
students themselves sealed it up.
I just healed up.
And
Dude came out of nowhere.
yeah,
It was smooth.
insane.
Like, how the hell he killed me like that?
Well, what are the other comparable
Ooh, shit.
like Native American stories? Are there any that speak of like this? There's one. Oh snap! Yeah. So
Just in that region or
all
They bogus for that. They bogus for that. They low key slowed everything up. It ain't jump at them or nothing.
Who knows, man?
I swung it twice.
Explore. We have all these caves that have their own ecosystem.
Like a sniper.
Yeah, like yeah.
I want to know
could be stuff.
how connected all of these cave systems are. You know, like the East Coast stuff to the West Coast who's to say that they don't.
Yeah, our minds just don't go over stuff like that.
I know. So the Hopi tribe, they talk about the ant people, which I think we may have mentioned before, but that was in Arizona. It says that they lived underground.
Both
They
his
built
guns.
cities underground, and that they were pale and had large eyes. Also, the snake people, beings who live underground possess advanced knowledge, often
That's funny.
with trickery or control. And then the Lakota, Dakota, Sioux, and other tribes.
I don't know about this gun.
Star people, which we've talked about. The Zuni and the Hopi, they have the Kachinas. Basically, the spiritual beings that came from the sky to go underground.
Wow.
Okay, I like
taught
it.
humans how to live, build, plant, and pray, it says. They said that they wore elaborate helmets and suits, which is weird. And then you have the Cherokee, Choctaw, and Chickasaw. And they called their beings or whatever the builders of the mounds. Said they were a race of giant, light-skinned beings.
Did I get that? I did like this. I don't know where it goes. Got his ass. Get out of there. It would be a bad time to find that sniper. I think I know exactly where that sniper at. Well, here's a sniper, but it ain't that sniper. It's a sniper right here. Technically, I do like the frost one. Right? Do I need a sniper though? There it is. Who the fuck is behind you? When does nigga get that? What the fuck and when the fuck did this nigga get behind me? And that spot is a terrible spot. Oh, he swam. He swam. He swam to me. He's in the water the whole game. That guy was in the water. Man, I just got swam on.
Like this land is just like full of demons.
That would be hilarious.
Yeah, that would be so funny. Yeah.
It tracks. It tracks. You can see. I can see that.
You got a land full of demons.
I mean, we talk about these lizard people? Wouldn't that be a result of a humanoid creature or something living without sun?
Yeah, I mean,
and living underground, like over time, evolving.
Yeah,
like so your skin becomes more adaptable to a dark and wet place with no sunlight.
I mean, yeah, we talk about how the Watchers obviously made it with the women of Earth and created the Nephilim.
Yeah,
but like it also not canonized, but the Book of Enoch, it talks about them bastardizing God's creation and creating these hybrids of people, and that's where you get stories of mermaids, vampires, all this kind of stuff. So like, and if you're gonna say all that stuff, reptilians that would
Bigfoot, which is a nothing, bad genes, could be.
Yeah,
I'm sure you could. Yeah, I'm sure.
It's weird though, man.
So I don't know about what to do. Fun, yeah, it makes you wonder why they wear the helmet and stuff like that.
Yeah, the helmet. Yeah,
to make you think that there's something if they're not. What if I was just a lizard person underneath that?
Yeah,
helmet. You have no idea.
That's weird.
I would love to find out if the Lord tells us, or we get to see it.
I think we'll know about it. I think we'll know about it.
Do you want to hear about a scary mountain?
Yeah.
I love scary mountains. So
we're on a scary mountain roll right now. Okay, so in Pakistan, there is a mountain that is called T-Ridge Moor Mountain, which is also translated to the King of Darkness.
Hey yo!
Oh my gosh!
Hey yo, Dutch!
Pakistan, all right? They really do. Now, there's a reason probably why it has this dark name, because in 1950 it was the first time anyone actually discovered this large mountain, actually ever went on it until some. They don't have an exact
That's some bullshit
throughout the years of how many people have died on this thing, but it's said to be hundreds. It was unsummitable at one point, right? But certain people have claimed that they've reached the summit, which is totally cool. It's fine. But there was a time that it was open reign, anyone could go, and there were some weird stories every now and then. There's some lore that fairies lived. There was a castle of fairies that used to live on this huge mountain, and there would be ginormous frogs that would hide within holes and would eat anyone up. And before they went up,
carnivorous frogs,
which is terrifying to think of, like a frog the size of a school bus, like lurking behind you, right?
They're saying that
they were ginormous. Yeah, apparently they were ginormous. They would swallow humans whole. But I mean, like I heard that, I'm like, whatever. But apparently, this isn't even like a myth. There's people who have seen these. I don't know if you would call them monks or whatever you would call them, but they were just people that are indigenous to that area that would live on the mountain. People wouldn't know their names, people wouldn't see their faces, but they would know, and apparently they would claim we're there to protect the space between nature and people, and trying to keep this mountain at peace, because there's a lot of lore to it. And it says if you summit it and the mountain doesn't kill you on your climb, within a year you die. And there's been claim after claim of this stuff happening, right? And at one point in the early 2000s, it got shut down. They said, you are not touching sun, no one can walk sun, it's completely restricted. Guess when it was? When they restricted this? September 2001.
Oh.
Well, that's weird coincidence.
Yeah, they say it's because it's near the border. I think of Iraq or Baghdad, I can't get whatever. Yeah. So it's close by, and that's what they claim. And so for almost 20 years, no one was able to go up on this mountain. And in 2019,
the U.S. government said you couldn't do it, or the government of
the people of Pakistan.
Okay.
Yeah, said you cannot go up. It's completely restricted. In 2019, the French group of mountain climbers got permission to go up. No one was on this mountain. So they go up this mountain, and
First time in 20 years.
First time in 20 years. They're going up this mountain. And this is just the thing that they just threw out. I'm like, how is this not a big deal? They're going up this mountain, and they see over in the far distance another group of people coming back down the mountain.
Pardon?
And they're like, that's weird. They go up, and they have a conversation. These people are Russian. They're a Russian group.
Ghosts.
Had no interest in having conversation or like sticking around, and then they left. French people went up there and went down with no problem whatsoever. And still to this day, it's very restricted. People aren't allowed.
Damn, that
But one story that I found very, very very interesting was I believe it was in in the 60s. This man named Peter from Austria and his two friends. They decide
he ain't there no more.
We're gonna take a break and we're gonna go mountain climbing. We love mountain climbing. We're gonna go to T-Rich more, right? They get there and they start climbing, and then they make a base camp to reach the summit. They sit down in the base camp and they sit down and they look at all their supplies, all their food and everything like that, and they realize they don't have enough for 3 people. So they're gonna decide. They decided we're gonna send 2 people up. One person's gonna stay at base camp.
No way.
Right? How they decide to do this is doing a poker game. So they have a poker game. It's pretty intense. And Peter, the one who organized the trip, loses. His 2 friends then that morning leave to go summit the rest of Tiki Rich, the King of Darkness Mountain. And they die. They fall, apparently off an ice sheet. That's what's said. They never recovered the bodies that I know of. And they just happen to die. Peter walks completely unscathed, goes back to college, and starts reevaluating things. A couple of years later, this guy starts working at a company called Nestle.
Shut up.
His name is Peter Brabeck, who is now the CEO of the World Economic Forum.
Hey, it's Tony Robbins. You know, I've had the privilege of the last 48 years to be obsessed by a question. That question is, what makes a difference in the quality of people's life? Why do so many people dream big and so few people actually achieve it? You know, why do some people, you can give them everything, love, support, great education, great family, and they end up spending life fighting in and out rehab. And then somebody else, life just, right, that they live in injustice, they are treated poorly, they're abused in some way, and they come on to be the people that, you know, change the world, the Oprahs of the world, or someone of that nature. And so, having had the privilege of this for this many decades and being obsessed with that question, of course, ask and you shall receive. And what you got to realize is maybe the difference in people's lives starts with the questions we ask ourselves. Those questions are how we create thinking. And you know, what's wrong is always available. So is what's right. And that's not positive thinking, it's intelligence, right? All you think is what's wrong, you're there. So what controls our focus, and what we focus, we feel. If you focus on someone's wronged you, even though it's not true, you're going to be angry, you're going to be sad, you're going to be hurt. If you focus on the opportunities or what you're grateful for, you're going to be brought to a different place. So over this time period, what I've learned is we all have a primary question, a question we ask more often than anything else. It controls our focus, it controls the direction of our life. And there's so many lousy questions that people ask. Like you say, you know, how come I can never lose weight? Well, there's the people that can all lose weight. But if you say,
hell no. Do you see that shit? How the fuck that happened?
So it's happened to me because you're messed up. So this question is creating any life. And he and I together have been on this.
And Tony Robinson, my phone.
Of the World Economic Forum. The same man who went on top of this mountain, had 2 of his best friends perish, went on from there to start working at Nestle, and ever since then has been working for Nestle until recently.
And he was appointed by Klaus.
Yes,
to
Klaus Schwab,
the new chairman of the World Economic Forum.
He's literally the best.
I mean, it's kind of crazy. This is the same guy who said that water is not a human right.
Yeah.
He was, you know, people said he was misquoted, but I'm like, that's literally what you said, though. It's not a human right. And when he started working for Nestle in 1970, it gets kind of crazy because he became the marketing director, and he went to Chile.
Oh, they bogus.
Nestle.
They bogus. They bogus.
And so
I tried to jump over that twice.
But you look at all the things that they did in that time within South America and in Africa. They started pumping instant formula like crazy, right? And they got to the point.
I thought that was an automatic gun.
We're going to start giving it to you free. We're going to give it to you very low because they knew they couldn't afford it. It was a low middle income country, and so they started giving them all this instant formula. And you know, with breast milk, if you don't use it, you lose it, right? And so they start having all these babies that are dependent on this formula.
Oh man!
And then they start using the water that's available to them in their village,
it's not that.
which is dirty, poisonous water. And it says on the label, if you use this water, it will kill your baby. Guess what? 10 million babies.
Oh, geez.
At the hands of Nestle because of this instant formula. Peaking over, like on average, it was $200,000 of 200,000 infant lives being lost on average, and he was there. And the thing is, which was really crazy, Nestle had a huge part in it because they would send their saleswomen to the hospitals in these countries dressed as nurses.
Saw that. Yeah.
Dressed as nurses, saying that the doctors are referring this, which was not true at all. Right? Yes. They said no, they've had to pay millions upon millions and millions of dollars. Not only for that, they were supplying chocolate and treats and all this stuff during World War II to the Nazis. They were using people in concentration camps for workers, not paying them, feeding them, not anything. But when you look at this, it's just such a dark history.
So now he's the chairman of the World Economic
Forum. And now he's the chairman of the World Economic Forum.
I will never look at the Nesquik bunny like the same again.
So the story is that two of his friends fell on an ice sheet after playing poker. These people had the capability of logistically planning a trip across the world and ascending a mountain. Or is it that every time we talk about satanic dark stuff, there's always an exchange of sacrificing what you love most, and then you make a trip with his best friends and leave them behind?
They become one.
What the fuck? How that bitch turn back?
Okay, well, you never.
That was a lot.
It was a lot. I was stuck on the mountain.
Yeah.
And then you said that, and I'm just like.
Well, I was just looking it up because the mountain had nothing to do with it. I was just looking into him, and then I was looking into his history and everything like that, and he says this was a big transformative ride. This is how to change everything. Put things in perspective for me. And you can't find, it gives you the name of his friend. You can't find anything on his friends. Anything at all. And it was just kind of like a weird thing, but just connection after connection.
That's so weird.
And it's weird that it was such a spooky mountain. You never explained the Russian dudes up.
That's it. That's what that thing is. They just flipped it and gone.
Did they describe what the Russian dudes looked like at all? Like,
no.
Was it them where they ghost? Is that what you're thinking?
The fast guys?
No, I'm thinking of the Mount Kailash, what we talked about last week. So it's the Mount Kailash in Tibet.
Yeah.
So there was a group of mountaineers that went up the mountain.
Oh,
that's right.
Disappeared.
Yeah.
And then Siberian mountaineers. So I don't know the nationality of the group that went before them, but Russia is heavily invested in Mount Kailash, studying it, and all the announcements that are about it.
Who the fuck is helping that guy? Who the fuck is helping that guy?
Yeah, like The Dark, the TV show. Something like that. Dude,
y'all niggas
weird,
teaming up.
I mean, when I saw it, they stopped it on, they restricted the mountain at September 11th, 2001.
And the Mount Kailash is restricted from, you can't climb that either.
Yeah, but you think about the Gilgamesh stuff that happened during the Iraq War, I mean, all this stuff, man. It's just such a...
The Stargate stuff.
Yeah, it's super strange.
You just opened up a box.
I'm telling you, I found that mountain by accident. But you look at the picture of the mountain, it's massive, dude. It's so crazy.
That's a wild story.
How spooky is that?
Yeah, the World Economic Forum is spooky enough, but the connection now is way more spooky.
Is that the same group that, do you remember, like, right when COVID hit, they did that weird, like, satanic performance?
Just huge out of nowhere.
I don't know. That was, like, for some tunnel, but I think the World Economic Forum was involved in that somehow.
Oh, okay.
But you looked into Klaus Schwab a little bit today, and how his father was a Nazi.
Yeah, they're like crazy big. Like they're working for the actual. They moved in the middle of the World War II to help out the Third Reich.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and he's been there.
Who is like the most powerful person on
He
planet
founded
Earth.
the World Economic Forum. Just stepped down.
He just stepped down on the day that the Pope passes away, and now this guy, Peter, is in charge. Peter the Pope. They just assumed on the same day. What if it's not the Vatican? What if it's the Vatican? What if the step above the Vatican is the World Economic Forum?
Are you joking? It's real.
That is great. It's a weird coincidence.
For a loved one admitted to an Illinois behavioral health facility.
That was a great trap.
Settlement may be coming.
I did do that on purpose.
These facilities allegedly failed to protect vulnerable patients from abuse for decades, putting their safety at risk. And now landmark lawsuits are forcing them to pay victims of sexual abuse and mistreatment. This isn't just talk. Over 100 former patients have already filed lawsuits. ABC, Fox, WGN, and the Chicago Tribune are covering this because it's following the exact same pattern as the recent Pavilion Behavioral Health and Cumberland Hospital cases, where one victim received up to $535 million by first filling out a simple qualification form. Here's what most former patients don't realize. If you've experienced any inappropriate behavior during your
Come on, commercials.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Oh my
super
gosh.
strange.
Wow. Weird.
Yeah. Did we just talk about that in the live? Yeah. Okay, so watch the live, but there's the prophecy of the popes leads us to believe that the next pope is going to be named Peter.
Peter the Roman. Yeah.
And then and he will be the last pope.
Yeah, before Judgment Day.
Jesus, come back.
Please.
Well, probably is.
Beautiful.
That's why.
It's fun, right?
That's crazy.
It just kept taking me down farther and farther.
I love them stories.
Yeah, there's something.
That was
weird.
a fight.
There's also there's another
I like
I
it.
wanted to read of Peter's, but never mind. Can't find it.
Nestle, man.
That's crazy.
Hate that.
That's terrible. How do these people? How are they even a company still?
Yeah, that's like, we hate cancel culture for a lot of reasons, but
Sometimes,
if y'all want to take up a cause,
Yeah. Like, stop buying Nestle.
We're defenseless against
it was
Look
200,000.
what they own though.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
It was
Everything we buy.
What was the figures on how many assumed infants?
10 million they said that they would reach out every year and average 200,000.
What the
per
fuck
year
is going on?
each year.
Yikes, dude.
What the fuck was going on?
Oh, we're done now, right? 2011, there's still 19 countries that are saying they're still doing this. They're still doing it. So it's not just going to just under the radar.
That shit made me stand in the air damn near.
It's supposed to be dictating what, because the World Economic Forum is like it's basically an arm of the United Nations at this point. We're making policy changes that affect.
What the fuck you thought this was?
And that stuff's not public. Those conversations aren't being shown. Yeah, it's like,
that's terrible, man. It's like it's right in front of your face.
Yeah, we don't care.
Well, we do care, but what are you going to do about it?
That's what I'm saying. But that thing, we don't even care. Like we just, most people just hear it and just don't even talk about it. At least talk about it. At least start having that conversation, and because it's gonna, we just become apathetic about it. Our kids will do. The generations will follow. It's like, it's just how the world works.
That's crazy.
Super scary stuff.
Freaking Nestle, dude.
Dude, Nestle? I'll punch you in the face, dude.
I used to love their chocolate milk, man.
Dude, Peter brought back.
I'm never going to drink chocolate milk again, dude.
Well, Peter broke your nose, dude.
Yeah.
No.
Get out of here, chocolate bunny. I'll kick your butt.
Have you guys ever heard of the immortal jellyfish?
No.
This is no joke the coolest jellyfish. It's literally a jellyfish that, if it needs to, it can regenerate to its teenage self, and in theory could just continuously be a full-on immortal jellyfish. Listen to the way it's made.
Jellyfish is a small jellyfish species native to the Mediterranean Sea. When threatened, injured, or faced with adverse environmental conditions, the jellyfish can transform back into its juvenile polyp stage, effectively starting its life cycle over again.
Both of y'all? Why both of y'all shooting at me? Y'all niggas are supposed to be teaming up?
That's not the craziest thing.
Those are made by the Wall.
jellyfish will fly.
What the fuck? He turned on you once you shot me.
Straight off the coast.
Once you got me, he turned on you like that was my kid.
Yeah. Oh, let's go. How do I say the name? I asked Josh how to pronounce his name earlier. He said, however he says it, you're for sure going to correct me.
Oh boy.
Matanzas Inlet?
That's correct.
Whoa.
Dang.
I've seen you say
I'm kind of thrown
massacre.
off. Oh. There was a massacre there, but much older than this story.
Oh,
so
justified.
I continued to do research while the pod was going, and I'm a little disappointed because the first story that I had an argument with ChatGPT because ChatGPT lied to me when I asked for a true story and said that it was true, and when I pushed, it was not. But
it does that, man.
But they based it on another story, which isn't as crazy, but is also true. So I'm just gonna turn my phone around and I'll pop these photos up, on the screen while the pod's running. But have you guys ever seen these photos of what washed up on the shore, just off that island?
No.
Okay, so these things, it's in the late 1800s. This like unidentified creature thing washed up on the shore, and we're talking it's like 18 feet long, 3 feet off the sand, and it's also like half buried. There's these are real photos.
What the fuck happened?
Existed. There's photos of people like spectating. The tide washed it away, and then it later showed up, and so they actually they were like, oh, let's not let that happen again. We want to research it. And so they later dragged it further up. It says near train tracks, so wherever that is in the area, but they got it off the tidal line. But what's super interesting is they said it had 7 legs and a tail. But as research has continued on this creature, they're surmising that's 8. It wasn't a tail; it was the 8th appendage, and most of the octopus-like arms had been cut pretty short. This thing had been dead in the sea, and so it had been eaten. But when you think about this was some of the earliest stories of creatures like this, like the pirate era, 1700s, and the Kraken or large octopus. But they're saying because of the size of this thing, and if it were an actual octopus, it would have been the tentacles could have been 100-foot long because they're they were this. You can see them in the photos, but they're this big around at the nubs.
Oh my gosh!
And so the actual creature, it stands to reason would have been what we see pictures of, the stories we hear, and so they have an actual proof. Now here's where it gets gray and murky. They took samples from the initial discovery.
Well, all those pictures look great, but
fair. They did. They took samples, and then it was 100. No, I'm doing really bad math. It was 50 years later that a newspaper recirculated the story, and then someone in the 70s was like, "Wait, they actually have this stuff that we can study. I'm going to do research," and they decided to take tissue samples. They still had a piece of this saved.
Spring is vastly approaching, and spring is the perfect time to do a fresh declutter, clear out the junk, clear out all of the funk, having a clean space, and also help you have a clean mind. I am walking into this whole new chapter of life, walking into being a whole wife. I love therapy because it has helped me so much, and it's just helped me navigate so many changes in my life. I'm telling you, I didn't need therapy before. I definitely need it now, but now that I'm healed,
what the fucking where?
I'm clearer in my mind than ever before. I still feel like I want to continue to have that support.
This bitch been talking about dumb shit.
They still had a piece of this saved. And they compared it to octopus, and they said it most closely compared to squid, fish, and stuff. The tissue sample most closely, it is pretty octopi giganta something in Latin, but they're calling it a giant octopus. That's what it is. And then someone pushes back, and they're and this is now in the late 90s. They're well, let's do the study again. And I think it happens 3 times, and it starts out it was definitely an octopus. And then the next person is it's gelatinous, and we believe it to be maybe a squid, maybe an octopus, something else. And then someone pushes back again, does another study, and they say it's just gelatinous blubber. But what I find interesting, I recently came across a post on X, formerly known as Twitter, that claimed that Mr. Beast is the Antichrist. And this post made me wonder, who else has been accused of being the Antichrist? So I went down the most insane rabbit hole of my life. Over the past 2,000 years,
hundreds of people have been identified as this evil person from the Bible, from Roman emperors to U.S. presidents.
That Franklin. Y'all niggas is so stupid.
Study, and they say it's just like gelatinous blubber. But what I this is just the top of it being wound up, and they estimated that it weighed somewhere on the beach, weighed somewhere around 4 or 5 tons. Yeah, and so I wanted to be sure that I was getting the okay, how much. I looked up how much is a sperm weight, and they'll eat 1,500 to 2,500 times, but the amount, some people later surmised that it was whale blood, and that's why it was digested in just a blob. But if that's true, the size of the whale, and that's just as crazy. It's literally proportionately just as insane to believe a whale would be that big as an octopus.
Oh my God.
That's crazy. Yeah. Ugh.
No.
Oh,
I thought
let me go to.
You said San Augustine physically pirate. It's a dirty pirate town filled with giant octopus.
Yeah. We're glad you're growing.
Yeah.
I'm not upset about it in the morning.
Speaking of warning, we got an episode right after this. We do? Oh, yeah. The Butterfly Patreon account is our Butterfly, baby.
Download the app today. You get a free episode every single week right after Friday's episode, and you get those episodes early as well, which is great. And you get discount code. We got a private Discord. We have a lot of fun. Behind the scenes footage, Josh.
Yeah, behind the scenes footage. Behind the scenes footage.
That's what everyone loves.
Get on Patreon. Okay. I think YouTube would take it down.
That dude shot up my shit.
One really weird glitch that happened.
Saw this.
Right?
Yeah.
It's the craziest thing.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah. Patreon.com/ninjas are butterflies. If you need custom merch, hats, stickers, shirts, anything you possibly need, get them here at Sunday Cool. SundayCool.com. We can make it happen. It's our workplace. We love everyone here. And
got his
support
ass.
Sunday Cool, using us as your provider.
Yes, and go, make sure to go get our new shirt. We'll see you later, alligator.
Right there, baby.
Yeah, and make sure to review us on anything. Subscribe to our YouTube, follow us on Spotify. Do all of that.
Comments your question, your answer for Lily's question. What would you tell the aliens to convince you to go back home?
Yep.
All right, love you guys.
All right, guys, love you.
All the best.
Bye-bye.
Wow.
Register.
If any of you multi-decade UAP
Bottleneck.
Where is it?
All I got.
Mobile banking. Download
today and get started.
What if advertising on streaming TV worked like search and social? Vibe.co helps grow your brand with streaming TV, just like search and social. Over 5,000 businesses across the U.S., from small brands to industry leaders, trust Vibe to make TV work for them. Increase awareness, retarget your website visitors, and boost conversions. See everything. Conversions, sales, and all directly inside your preferred analytics tools. It's the highest rated streaming TV ad platform on G2 because Vibe continues to grow brands of all types and sizes. Grow your brand with TV today. Get started with Vibe.co for just $500.
Hello, welcome to the podcast show. This podcast is brought to you and powered by Sunday Cool. Isn't that neat? My name's Andy, and I don't have a dad. Watch this! It just seemed like the right thing to do.
I think this podcast is going that way.
Find out, yes. Hey guys, fun fact. Did you know that antelope can't swallow water, but in order to stay hydrated, they have to chew ice? Another fun fact, Sunday Cool is the best for all your custom apparel buying needs. So if you have an organization, or if you're starting a clothing brand, use Sunday Cool, where we have super soft shirts with super soft prints. Also fun fact, that first fun fact was fake, but the second fun fact was a fact. Fact. Very, very fun.
Trying to like come up with a natural conversation.
This is it. This is right here. Hey, look at us. Brown hat boys.
Brown hat boys.
Brown hat boys.
Sweater girls.
And Andrew. Long hair.
Brown face guy.
I think you're just kidding. And Andrew's there.
What the fuck? How do you know I was right there?
Brown skin, brown hat boys. Hey! Look at us. Look at us.
To be unloading like that, how did he know I was right there?
Hey! I felt like being a little bright today. Bring a little sunshine into this dark office.
We'll spread it to your personality, not just your wardrobe.
It's there! You're the one being all, you're dark.
Just dark. What are you talking about?
They watched the loadout.
It's not even going to be in.
I know they watched the loadout. He acting like he wasn't watching it. He's been staring at it the whole time. That's what he gets for the loadout watching, too.
Cutting that out.
This sweater,
We're doing it live.
It reminds me of when Josh and I first started dating.
You know where I got that sweater?
Where?
Boston.
Boston?
Boston. Boston?
Got that sweater in Boston.
Lily, let me hear your Boston accent. Oh, that's pretty good. I won't do it.
Hey, I'm not going to do it. I put it on in the store. I said, how do you like them apples? No, get out. Get out. I'm from Connecticut.
I don't really get, I get that, that was a tough line, but, I don't really understand how it was a tough line.
What? How do you like them apples?
How do you like them apples?
It was a tough line.
How is it tough?
Because he's trying to be a tough guy. It's like, hey, you like apples?
He was talking about apples.
Yeah.
He was eating an apple, wasn't he? When he said
Yeah. I don't think he was eating an apple.
Yeah,
he was not eating an apple. Will Hunting was not eating an apple when he said, I got them apples.
Something with the scene involved apples.
I don't think
it did. That's
It
why
did.
I'm confused.
Or maybe in therapy lessons he was talking about apples.
No,
Hey, this was before the therapy lessons.
Oh,
I'm telling you, there's something.
We're getting to the bottom of it.
We'll watch the scene after this.
After I park my car and have it, yeah.
Okay.
Hey, say, park your
I won't
car.
do it.
No, you have to. Park my car in Harvard Yard.
Oh.
Park my car and have it, yeah. Go for it.
Don't look at me.
Okay.
Oh, gosh. Park my car and have it, yeah.
That was good. The middle was a little off, but that end was perfect.
All right, Andrew. We'll just come up with something.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to do a song. You didn't do a song. Yeah.
But we'll, whatever.
I think I'm gonna.
All right, let's see.
Oh. Awesome.
Open a Chime checking account in 2 minutes, and we'll spot you up to $200. Apply now and get started.
Awesome.
Archer, you put it all before, but I promise it'll be a surprise. I don't believe that anybody has a Sherlock Holmes. There are many things
That motherfucker got loose. He just floated away.
So let's start the show. Come on, baby, let's go.
He's getting a 2-for-1 special.
That was pretty good.
Get out the window.
Hey, that was pretty good. That was good. Good job.
Good job, guys.
Hey, excellent.
Oh, wow, I got
Welcome to the
so
show.
nervous singing it.
It's like performing on American Idol. Oh. It's like, what are they saying? Am I going to Hollywood?
That was absolutely atrocious.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I loved it.
Okay, everyone. I know you were quiet, but just remain quiet. Today's question, weird one, very weird, sent in by a viewer. Today's question, should we feed children?
Why are you looking at me? Is this for me?
Yeah, I guess you'll start. Should we feed children?
Of course.
Poison.
Whoa! Whoa! Really? Let me finish. Hold on. Whoa!
Really wants to feed children poison?
You heard it right there. Goodness, this is. Where's Jane? Where's Jane? Where's Jane? The show.
Three people.
You guys are crazy.
Just so good. The way she said, of course. Just wait for it after. That was perfect.
Jane is safe with her grandma.
Yes.
Where is she?
Kiki.
Where is she?
Mama.
Is that a cat in the hat? Murder.
Of course we shouldn't feed children poison.
Of course not.
But we should feed them.
Should be.
Maybe. No, they've been good.
Have you
Kids been good. You get food. Nope. Go to bed. Hungry. Hungry.
My kids don't need to pay it.
Really?
That's just a rental decision. I think it's important that they learn you don't eat unless you act the way I feel
You should be acting.
you should be acting today.
That's very interesting parenting.
Yeah, it's just my thing.
Stars.
You really do that?
You should probably clarify. No, that's like, no, that's, I know a lot of times we joke on the podcast and stuff like that, but in this instance, I am.
Oh.
Yes, I am.
Okay. Speaking with about things that are happening to children, something happened yesterday that was. Hey, it's okay. This happened. This happened. Hey.
Shame is so deep.
No, this happens more often than not. I think.
Yeah, I hope. And you guys were good about it, so yeah, it's fine. Go, yeah.
I don't know how good we were about it.
Lily was at the park yesterday with Ada and baby Jane.
Just being a good mom.
Yeah, and Ada,
hanging out with the kids.
Ada loves playing in the car. Like, she just, like, if we're outside playing, she goes into the car, like, let me in. And she, like, grabs the steering wheel and, like, does all that stuff.
Like most children.
And
driver once in a while.
yeah.
Just do.
So Lily put Ada in the car because Ada just runs everywhere.
Well, she went straight to the driver's side. Okay.
Where are you leaving?
We were going to go get lunch, but there was no rush, so I was like, yeah, you can play that.
Yeah, so Lily put Jane in the car, in her seat, shuts the door, sees the door shut, Ada goes, click, click, locks the car.
With my backpack.
Yeah.
And my shoes.
Did you hear it?
Yep. It was that fateful click. And I went, I'm not going to panic. That's immediately.
Can I tell the folks when she calls you?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're sitting here and it's like 10 o'clock in the morning, and then Josh gets a phone call. He's like, oh, 1 second, I gotta take this. He always interrupts our phone conversation, our conversations because Lily's calling. It's obnoxious. But she calls and I can overhear her because she's louder, and so it's like I can hear it. And then she says, okay, don't panic. And then he's like, okay. And I'm just laughing already. And you're like, but the worst possible thing in the world just happened.
So she called the fire department, and I drove like 100 miles an hour back home to find a spare key.
No cops.
No cops. This is the second time I've been able to drive through the Eustis to Barry Campo area going way too fast. 1,000% reckless driving.
Yeah.
And no one stops.
First, two things. Before, if there's any police officers in those areas that are watching this podcast, we love you. And there's no need to up your look at it. It's fine. It's fine. You can let it go.
Green Tacoma. And just know that if I am driving that fast, there's a reason.
It's on purpose. Yeah. Also, why is it those people never get caught? People like that are driving absolutely so fast, but it's like, you're 1 day past your registration.
Oh, yeah.
I can never get away when I'm already hurt.
Silly.
Like 9 minutes, my headlight's been out, and you pull me over, and yet there's a guy that's going like 130 down, just because McDonald's breakfast is going to be closing. All right, continue. Sorry.
But yeah, so fire department got there. They were there for like what, 8 minutes?
I mean, it was no time
until I got there. But they were like, "You guys get there soon. We just have to bust in the window."
Well, I was getting really calm because, which is not normal for these guys, and I was just like,
"You did a good job."
And Josh is calling me, what's going on? And I'm talking to the dispatch person, and they're like, is anybody upset? I'm like, well, my newborn's crying, but because she needs to take a nap, that's the reason. And I was like, but I told her, I was like, I'm really scared, though, that Ada's gonna meander around and then sit on the baby. That was my worst fear, because she was in her car seat, and then Ada took it towards her, and
oh, that's panic. That's panic.
And so I told the fireman, I was like, just, if she gets near the baby, be prepared.
Just knock it down.
I don't care. Knock it down.
Throw me through the window if you have to.
Yeah. But you could tell, like, they kept asking me questions, like, how long have the kids been in the car? Why did this happen? How did this happen?
Like, very accusatory.
Yeah, and I'm like, they think I'm negligent, and they're probably going to send DCF to do a surprise visit on our house.
Well, I did call CBS just because I felt like that was like...
CBS?
CPS.
Oh,
Child Protective Services.
What's DCF?
I have no idea. But I did report, just because I'm a mandatory reporter, I really feel like that's important.
So it's called CPS.
Child Protective Services, yeah.
Yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah. Anyway,
we got him out.
It was terrible. And Ada was having time to laugh.
Yeah, she was laughing the whole time, like clapping.
Taunting the firemen, like, give me.
Don't give me.
And they're like, have you tried to get her to push the unlock button? And I'm like, I guess to whatever extent I can with a 2-year-old.
Hey, push that button,
push
Ada.
This one right here.
Hey, lady.
And she's going,
Oh my god.
That happened to me one time. We were coming out of Academy Sports, and it was when Debbie was younger, and she loved playing with keys. And so I picked her up, and she was small enough. She was in her car seat still.
Yeah.
And so she had the keys while we were walking through the store and everything. I put her in the seat, not even thinking, walking around, and then I get 3/4 of the way around to the on the driver's side, and I hear all the locks click. I'm like, and so I froze, and it's just like, she's gonna hit it 10. I reach for the handle, and it's like, she's gonna hit it 10. She's got to. God, please. And so as soon as she hit Like, that door opens so fast. It's terrifying. It's so scary.
I thought the whole point of having those like wireless keypads there was that you could not.
Yeah, what's up with that? There must be a
Was the car on? The car was on.
No, but every time you'd lock the car with your hands, like you can just open the door.
Yeah,
That's like,
you go beep beep beep.
interesting. I don't know. But do you know when I was in high school, our neighbors called CPS on our family?
Really? Why?
Yeah.
Well, I can understand, but we're a lot of tannerite for a kid.
Yeah,
we're unsupervised.
We had tannerite. We had, I mean, just like every other night there was an explosion in our backyard.
Yeah.
And like 20 high school kids, like we dug like mud pits and like all this stuff.
Yeah.
But the reason why our neighbor one day saw me and my little sister, and we're shooting the bow and arrow straight up, and then we would run away.
Like the movie Grown Ups.
Yeah.
Just like that.
But this was before Grown Ups.
Yeah, you guys admitted it.
Played that too. Yeah, it's so stupid. Don't do that, guys.
Yeah, that.
But I think Taylor was a junior or a senior in high school, and the guy came to our door, opened it, and he's like, "Hi, are you the father?" And he's like, "No."
What?
And then he's like, "Oh." He's like, and so he's like, my impression was that you guys were little kids from the first
Damn. That nigga survived that though.
Stupid activity.
He had perfect straight.
Like, you guys are good, so we're fine.
Imagine if something bad happened, how bad that guy would feel. Kid comes in with an arrow that says, "I need help."
That job would be so much fun because I'd be like, think twice. But I don't think you can make the kids do that.
Taylor was huge though. Like, he was like